In the next tutorial, we're going to go over a 4-step process from beginning to end to show you how to create a catalog entity from scratch and make sure that that entity gets the proper tagging. What we're going to use for this tutorial is we're going to design a catalog entity of an access door. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a tag which is going to be placed on the access door. So we're going to have to create a tag, create an automatic of that tag, and then create an auto tag with that tag. The first step we're going to cover is creating the catalog entity itself. To do this, we're going to go into the library icon, and then we're going to go looking for the proper fitting we'd like to use to create an access door out of. And what we're going to do here is maximize our library screen. We're going to go to the ductwork libraries, and we're going to select the fitting out of the ASI library for this tutorial. We're going to go down to straight duct, and we're going to pick this CJT3 fitting. And what we need to do is first create a catalog name for the catalog item we're going to use. So what we're going to do here is hit the green create a new catalog button. We're going to name it PCAT Access Doors and hit enter. I always like to name the catalog name with all capital letters. It makes it easier for reporting later if you use the same uppercase and lowercase. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new item inside the PCAT Access Doors catalog. And here what we're going to do is we're going to call that PCAT Access Door. And this one we're going to use a little bit different. We're going to do one uppercase, one lowercase letter. And we're going to hit enter. So we've created a new catalog and a new item. Now what we need to do is pick the parameters of this item. Now the way we'd like to make this access door is we'd like to just put this entity on the drawing. We'd like it to get an auto tag, but we don't want it to follow all the specifications that happen to be working on the straight duct fittings at that time. I don't want flanges on my access door. I don't want anything to change. The only parameter I want to modify on my access door, because all we're going to do in this tutorial is order them when we're done using them, is to be able to change the width and depth. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the width and depth to 12 and 12. That's just going to be the default, where it's going to start every time I go to use the access door. But we're going to leave these parameters unlocked so that we can modify them. For length, we're just going to make it 1 inch long, because that's all we're going to want to see on our drawing for this access door, just 1 inch long. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these connector parameters. You can see they happen to be locked. Always pay attention to make sure the parameters are locked before you go to change, locked or unlocked. And now what we're going to do is say the connector is going to be raw edge or raw on both. And we're going to do that, which basically means we're just going to get a flat raw edge. And the rest of these technology parameters are not going to make a difference because we're not going to be downloading these access doors to Practicam. We're not fabricating them. We just want to order them and get a report and have them show up on the drawing and get tagged properly. So we don't have to really worry about what information is necessarily in here. But what we're going to do is we're going to lock down all the parameters. We're going to click on this little button here, and that locks them all down. And we're just going to unlock the ones we want to change. And that's just going to be width in and depth in for this particular tutorial. You're going to notice that I've got the fabrication level under order as well, which is another way of making sure later on that we don't download these fittings. So what we've done is we've created an access door item. And now what we need to do is we need to drag that item and put it on our drawing by sticking it in one of our bins. And then we're going to pull it out and attach it to this duct. So we're going to go into the bin. We're going to click on the PCAT access door catalog item we've just built. And you're going to notice that it's not following any specifications because all the parameters are locked down. All I can do is change width and depth, unless I decide to unlock the parameters, but we're not going to want to. This means that I've only got two choices to answer, width in and depth in, when I go to make this fitting. So we're going to leave it as 12 by 12, and now we're going to hit T for tap, and we're going to click on the duct, and we're going to attach it as a tap. And we're just going to press OK. And of course, there's tutorials on how to work with taps. Now what we're going to do is just put this in isometric view, and we're going to take a look at what we have. So what we've got here is a little piece of duct, which is going to represent an access door on our drawing, and we're going to be able to report this entity by its catalog name PCAD access doors later on. Now, one thing you'll notice already is it's getting a tag. And the reason why is currently we have not set the auto tags for the fitting we use to catalog this to skip this fitting. And we're going to do that when we get to the tagging process. But part one is designing the catalog item. The second part of this tutorial, we're going to design a custom tag for the access door. In order to do that, we're going to have to go into the library icon on the PractiCAD ribbon. Now, before you watch the rest of this video, make sure that you already have watched the entire video tutorial titled How to Create Custom Tags. We're going to create a custom tag, and all of the choices, parameters, options are covered in those videos. Here we're just going to design a custom tag quickly. We're going to basically open up our browser. We're going to go over to documentation, open up tags. We're going to go to custom. We're going to click on the word custom. We're going to create a new tag. We need to select the BMP image. For the tag, we're going to press open. PractiCAD is going to ask us to name the tag. We're just going to call it PCAD AD. We're going to hit enter. This way the name is accepted. And now what we're going to do is just going to build our tag. We know we're going to want to follow the textile standard for this tutorial. So we're going to put in the text style. We're going to leave it center aligned. We're going to say we don't want a leader. We're going to close it down to just one field, field 1A. We're going to basically put in all of our expression. Here we're just going to copy and paste it from another area, but there are tutorials on how to build the expression. And we're essentially just building our custom tag. And we want to make sure that all the parameters here are exactly as we want them. So to make sure before you go further, create your tag for the access door, whatever entity you're trying to create, save it, and then drag it into your bin and test it out once before you move forward. So what we're going to do is exit out. We're going to put this in top view. And we're just going to run this tag by going into the tag bin, grabbing the tag, clicking on the access door, and taking a look at what it looks like. And this says 12 by 12 AD, and that's exactly what we want. So we have now designed a custom tag that we can use on our access doors. The next step is going to be to create an automatic with this custom tag. Step 3 is going to be to design an automatic utilizing the custom access door tag we just built. Now, before you move forward with this section, you must have already watched the entire video tutorial on this feature we're highlighting here. How to use AutoTag tagging automatics, the full tutorial. This way you understand already and have a good working knowledge of designing automatics. What we're going to do is go into the library icon on the PractiCAD ribbon. We're going to open up our library. We're going to come to the left to the automatic section. We're going to click on tagging, and we're going to click on create a new. And when we do that, PractiCAD is going to ask us for a BMP image. We're going to choose one. We're going to press open. Now we're going to name the automatic, and we're just going to name this automatic PCAD AD Auto. We're going to hit enter. Now generally what we would do is if we were building this automatic from scratch, we would come through and answer all of the selection choices, conditions, placement, everything. What we're going to do here in this tutorial is we're going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to go and copy from automatic all of the placement parameters we've got somewhere in another automatic inside PractiCAD. And underneath the PractiCAD autos, miscellaneous, there happens to be already a access door automatic. And when I pick it, PractiCAD is going to just copy it. And you can see here, if we zoom in, you can see what the access door automatic looks like and where it places it. So we're going to use that for this tutorial, assuming that you already know how to design automatics. Now, two things we are going to change. One, we just hit copy from automatic. So what it did is it copied everything, including the original access door tag. This is the one that comes in PractiCAD. What we want to use for this exercise is we want to use the one we just designed, the PCAD AD tag. So we're going to switch the tag. We're going to keep all the placement parameters that we just borrowed from using copy from automatic. And what we're going to do here in conditions is we're going to double check and make sure that this automatic is working on just the fittings we want. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the ASI library straight, and we're going to say that this automatic should only apply to the CJT3 fitting. And what we're going to do here is we're also going to specify a condition. We're going to say that the catalog must equal, and we're going to call it PCAD access doors. Now remember, everything here is case sensitive. So if in fact we don't make it here exactly as we named our catalog in part 1, this condition is not going to work. But we're going to say that this automatic is only good if the catalog equals PCAD access doors. That means that if we use a CJT3 fitting and it's not out of the catalog PCAD access doors, that this tag is not going to be placed on the fitting. And that's what we want. There's two places you can do this. From the automatic, because we're about to copy it, so this information will carry over, or you could build a condition in the AutoTag itself. It's up to you. Here we're choosing to build the condition in the automatic, but it's very important to make sure that you tell Practicad, using conditions, that it should not tag the CJT3 fitting, or whatever fitting we're using, unless the catalog equals the PCAD access doors. So once we've got everything set in place, we're going to hit save. Now what we've got is an automatic that we can use to copy into the AutoTag. And that's going to be the fourth part of this video tutorial. Now in the fourth part of this tutorial, we're going to take the automatic we've designed, PCAD AD Auto, and we're going to copy it in to the AutoTag section in the catalog entity we created for an access door. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the ductwork libraries. We're going to go into the ASI, open up to the catalog entity we created. It's under the CJT3 fitting, PCAD access doors. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say to add an auto tag. We're going to click on the add button to add an auto tag. And when we do that, Practicad's going to open up the auto tag window. Now we're not going to fill anything out here because we've already designed an automatic with all the proper parameters. It's always better to design an automatic first and then copy it into the auto tag. And this becomes more apparent when you start working with Ultimatics and more advanced procedures in Practicad. But it's recommended to always design an automatic first, then copy it into the auto tag. You can always copy automatics to auto tags. You cannot copy auto tags into automatics, and that's the reason we recommend to design an automatic first. Now once we've done that, we're going to hit copy from automatic. And now we're just going to go find the automatic we've already created. We're going to go into tagging, and we've got PCAD AD Auto. When we pick it, it copies all of our settings. And from part 3, you'll notice that we have a condition in here already that says catalog equals PCAD access doors. And we want to double check to make sure that the names match perfectly. If the names don't match perfectly, it's not going to work. So what we're going to do now is we can say OK. Notice that Practicad copied the name of the automatic here. Now here's the last thing we need to do. We have just successfully created the tag, the automatic, and the auto tag. However, if we go to put the PCAD access door fitting on the drawing, currently, because we have the length auto tag checked, it's going to get both tags. And we want the access door to only get the PCAD AD auto tag. So what we want to do is we want to go into the length auto tag, and we actually want to go into any tag inside the auto tag section that we do not want to be associated with our access door, and we want to double click inside that auto tag, and we want to go to conditions, and we want to make sure that we create a condition that says catalog, and we're going to choose catalog, does not equal, and we want to say PCAD access doors. And what we're doing here is we're saying that this particular length auto tag, it should not be placed on a fitting if that fitting comes from the catalog PCAD access doors. So what happens now, when we press OK, we've now built a condition into this auto tag that says you can tag length auto for all CJT3 fittings, but not if the catalog equals PCAD access doors. And on this auto tag, we got a condition that says we can only go on fittings that come from the PCAD access door catalog. Now what we can do is we can exit out of library, and what we're going to do is we're going to delete the original access door, and we're going to place the new one on the drawing. So we're going to grab it out of our library, hit T for tap, and we're going to click on the fitting. And once we click on the fitting and we place the access door on the drawing, you can see that we now have a cataloged entity that can be used on the drawing, can be reported later, and there are tutorials on how to build reports, and can be auto-tagged completely different from its original PractiCAD template, which would have been the CJ-T3 fitting. So using this technique, we can create any catalog entity we want, and then create the proper tag and make sure that when we use the catalog entity, only that entity gets the tag we choose. That's going to conclude the entire tutorial on designing catalog entities utilizing the AutoTag option.